Before the world knew her by her signature spiked blonde hair and her bold, "Cook like a rock star" motto, and Burrell was just a girl from Cazenovia, New York, with a passion for food, a knack for storytelling, and a relentless drive to turn everyday ingredients into something unforgettable. Today, she is remembered as one of the Food Network's most recognizable faces, a champion of culinary education, and a mentor to countless aspiring chefs who found both flavor and fearlessness through her example. Born on September 21, 1969, and grew up surrounded by the rustic charm and small-town warmth of upstate New York. Raised in a household that valued good food, creativity, and hard work, and discovered early on that food was more than sustenance, it was expression. Weekend dinners were more than meals, they were a form of connection. And cooking was how she began to find her voice. After graduating from Canisius College with a degree in English and Communications, and realized her true calling wasn't in writing or broadcasting, it was in food. She pivoted and enrolled at the Culinary Institute of America in Hyde Park, one of the most prestigious culinary schools in the country. There, her talent began to crystallize, and so did her confidence. She soaked up every lesson, stayed late in kitchens, and made it clear that she wasn't just there to pass, she was there to lead. And further sharpened her skills in Italy, studying at the Italian Culinary Institute for Foreigners and working in top restaurants across Tuscany and Piedmont. It was in the old world kitchens of Europe that she fell deeper in love with rustic Italian cuisine. The ingredients spoke to her, the culture inspired her, and the respect for tradition helped define her cooking philosophy. Simple, soulful food made with passion and purpose. When and returned to the United States, she brought back not just knowledge, but identity. She worked in several esteemed New York City restaurants, including Savoy and Centro Vinoteca, where she served as executive chef. Her food was bold, unpretentious, and packed with personality, just like and herself. But it wasn't until her television breakthrough that Burrell became a household name. Starting as Mario Batali's sous chef on Iron Chef America, and quickly became known for her clear communication, contagious energy, and masterful skill. She soon earned her own Food Network show, Secrets of a Restaurant Chef, where she demystified professional techniques for home cooks. She didn't just teach recipes, she empowered people to own their kitchens. Her hosting of Worst Cooks in America further solidified her stardom. On paper, it was a humorous cooking competition for those lacking skills. But under Anne's guidance, the show became something more, a testament to transformation. Week after week, she coached kitchen disasters into competent home cooks, pushing them past embarrassment and into confidence. Her mix of humor, tough love, and sincere belief in her recruits won over millions. Viewers weren't just entertained, they were moved. Off camera, Anne was a fierce advocate for culinary education and women in the kitchen. In an industry still dominated by men, she refused to apologize for her style, her leadership, or her voice. She mentored young female chefs not by preaching, but by paving the way. She showed them it was possible to be yourself, spiky hair, bold eyeliner, and all, and still command a kitchen with respect and authority. Throughout her career, Anne authored cookbooks that mirrored her personality. Practical yet vibrant, approachable yet refined. Her debut, Cook Like a Rock Star, became a bestseller and a kitchen staple for thousands. It wasn't just a recipe collection, it was a manifesto on joy, boldness, and self-expression through food. And was also open about her personal journey, about being a proud member of the LGBTQ+ community, about the ups and downs of love and heartbreak, and about the ongoing work of self-growth. She married Stuart Claxton in a beautiful 2021 ceremony surrounded by family, friends, and fellow Food Network stars. Their love, grounded in humor and mutual respect, became an uplifting part of Anne's later life, especially as she navigated an increasingly demanding career. Despite her fame, Anne remained grounded. She continued visiting Cazenovia, spending time with her family, and giving back to local initiatives. She supported food drives, mentored high school students, and used her platform to elevate conversations around mental health, identity, and the importance of lifting others as you rise. In the kitchen, Anne was a tornado of purpose. Every ingredient had meaning, every dish had intent. She could be intense, but only because she cared so deeply about the process, the people, and the plate. Her team-first mentality made her a beloved figure not just to audiences, but to those who worked alongside her. And Burrell was more than a fixture on television. She was a force in the culinary world. With her spiked platinum hair, fiery enthusiasm, and unapologetically loud laugh, and redefined what it meant to be a chef on screen. She didn't fit the traditional mold of a television personality, nor did she try. What made her magnetic was the authenticity she carried in every dish, every lesson, and every word. She was a chef who brought humanity into the kitchen, and in doing so, welcomed a legion of home cooks and food lovers into hers. Her presence on television was never about fame for fame's sake, it was about visibility. Visibility for women in a male-dominated profession. Visibility for LGBTQ+ individuals in mainstream media. Visibility for a type of leadership that didn't require ego, bravado, or perfection, and led by showing up fully herself. She never toned down her voice or polished her persona to fit expectations. She was bold. She was raw. And she was deeply kind. Through hit shows like Secrets of a Restaurant Chef and Worst Cooks in America, and transformed how people engaged with food. She turned learning into entertainment, mistakes into opportunities, and fear into fun. In Worst Cooks, it was easy to laugh at the incompetence of the contestants, and never did. Instead, she believed in them. She pulled them through their insecurities and guided them to the finish line with firm compassion. To those contestants, and to the millions watching at home, she was a coach, a cheerleader, and a mentor all rolled into one. And didn't limit her talents to the studio. In her final years, she continued to evolve and expand her reach. She embraced digital platforms, produced web series, partnered with educational organizations, and explored ways to open a culinary school that would focus on providing access to underrepresented communities. Her vision was rooted in a simple but radical belief that food belongs to everyone, that the kitchen should be a place of inclusion, confidence, and joy. She believed food had the power to unify, and that teaching someone how to cook was as valuable as teaching them how to lead. Anne's impact reached far beyond the recipes she created or the shows she hosted. Her greatest legacy may be the countless chefs and home cooks who found courage because of her. Her style, her voice, and her fierce sense of self offered a model for how to exist unapologetically in a world that often encourages conformity. She taught people not just how to roast a chicken or make risotto, but how to stand tall, how to laugh loud, and how to love yourself while you're at it. Sadly, in 2025, the culinary world lost one of its brightest stars. And Burrell passed away peacefully, surrounded by family and close friends. While the exact cause of her death was not publicly disclosed, what remains undeniable is the void her passing left behind. The tributes came quickly, from world-renowned chefs, men's who got their start because of her guidance, and fans who found solace and inspiration through her shows. To so many, she wasn't just a chef or a host, she was a friend, even if they'd never met her. And is survived by her husband Stuart, her stepson Javier, her mother Marlene, and her siblings Jane and Ben. Yet her family extends much further than that. She is survived by a community of culinary professionals she mentored and inspired, by viewers whose lives were changed by her encouragement, and by aspiring chefs who still hear her voice in the back of their minds reminding them to season boldly and cook with joy. Her legacy endures in the kitchens she helped create, in the techniques she passed down and the confidence she instilled. She lives on in the person who dares to make their first bechamel sauce because of her YouTube tutorial, in the teenager who finds a sense of belonging in food because of the comfort she projected on screen, and in the teacher who opens culinary classes with one of her signature lines. And left behind more than memories, she left behind a movement. She didn't seek to build monuments in her name. Instead, she built bridges, for others to cross, for others to thrive. She didn't chase the spotlight, but she never hid from it either. She used it to shine light on those who needed it most. She showed the world that being yourself was not just okay, it was powerful. Even now, long after her final dish was plated, and Burrell's spirit is still alive in every kitchen that values authenticity over perfection. In every classroom where laughter meets learning. In every home where someone finally finds the courage to cook their first real meal. Her ethos, one of confidence, empowerment, and bold expression, continues to influence the culinary landscape. And once said, cooking is about trust. Trust in the ingredients, in the process, and in yourself. That idea infused every part of her life. She trusted her gut, her style, her mission, and it led her to become one of the most respected, beloved, and impactful figures in the modern food world. As we reflect on her remarkable life, let us remember, and not just as a chef, but as a trailblazer. A woman who used her platform to uplift, to educate, and to bring people together. She taught us to find our voice in the kitchen and to be proud of who we are, no matter how unconventional. Thank you for joining us in this tribute to Anne Burrell. If her journey has touched you, we encourage you to share her story, because Anne's legacy belongs not just to the culinary world, but to anyone who believes in the power of passion, personality, and perseverance. And as Anne would surely remind you, get in that kitchen, turn up the heat, and cook like a rock star.